Okay, so thank you so much for joining one day webinar on Python. Today we have one guest speaker, Miss Khushi Joshi, and she has very good command on Python. So, okay, so if you have any doubts, just stay with us and you can share your queries after the lecture. Okay, now over to you, Miss Joshi.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity to present and take a lecture. Good morning, everyone. My name is Khushi Joshi, and today, on behalf of Drug Chemistry Research Center, I would be taking a lecture on Python for drug discovery. So, starting off with what is Python? So, Python is a high-level language. So, there are various types of language. There are three types of language. Firstly, being machine language, assembly level, and high-level language. Machine level language is the language of machine, where that is in the form of zeros and ones, which is understandable only to the computer. Whereas high-level language is known as the language of humans, which is understandable to humans. So Python being a very easy language, which is easy for humans to understand. And it is also an interpreted programming language. An interpreted programming language is a language in which the source code, that is the code that we have written, is converted into binary format of bits, that is zeros and one, which is understandable to the machine line by line. So there are two types of programming languages, again interpreted and compiled. In compiled language, the whole source code is converted into binary formats. Once at last means when the code is executed, whereas in interpreted language, the source code is converted to bits line by line. Python is also very easy to understand, and it is very versatile as it has various libraries and tools which is easy to understand to every human. Python was created by Guido van Rossum in the year 1991. Next, we have are some of the key features of Python. So Python is very easy, understandable language, and the code is very easy to maintain. The code is very crisp and short, and it is very easy for you to understand the language. It is also open source language. So an open source language is a language which has a very high active community of developers who contribute their development in Google or in an environment where it is easy for everyone to check their code. Python also have an extensive library about which we would be studying further in the lecture. Again, it is an interpreted language. It has multiple paradigms. For example, it is object-oriented language. It is procedural and it has functional program. It has cross-platform compatibility and it has a very wide community. Next is what is a variable. So variables, just like we have various containers in our homes to store certain items. For example, we have a container in kitchen for storing sugar. Similarly, we also have containers in Python for storing a variable, for storing a particular variable value named as variable. So variable provide a memory location to a particular value. For example, if you want to store a data named as age, so for that we will give a name to a variable named as age, which would be storing the value of age. So there are various rules for naming a variable, which states as first that the letter it should start with either a letter, which could be in uppercase or lowercase, and or a underscore. So the first rule is that it should start with letter or an underscore. We can also use digits in Python for naming a variable, but the name of the variable should not start off with a digit. It is also the name of the variable is also case sensitive. Case sensitive means the uppercase and lowercase values are different. Suppose we are naming a variable as age, and one name we have given in lowercase and another name we have given it in uppercase. So both the values would be stored at different memory locations. So it is very important to remember that which case we have used for naming the variable in the further in the code. Otherwise, it would generate an error. We can also not use reserved words in Python. Reserved words are known as keywords. So we cannot use reserved keywords. For example, there are various reserved keywords, more than 30 keywords in Python, like false, none, true, if else. So we cannot use these names, reserved names of keywords, as the variable name. And lastly, the syntax of renaming a variable is very easy. First is giving the name of the variable. It could be any name except the rules that we have seen, and then providing it with the value. Next are the data types in Python. So when we are naming a variable, the value that we're storing in a variable can be of different types. It could be an integer type value, it could be a decimal type value, or a string type value. So these types of values are known as the data types in Python. So while naming a variable, so each and every variable has its own data type. So there are five major categories of data types. Starting off with numeric type, it could be of two type again, integer and float. Integers are the normal values, for example, 10, -5. It could start from minus infinity and goes to plus infinity. Next, we have floating point values, which are actually the decimal values. Next, we have Boolean type values. Suppose we are writing a code and we are giving a name of variable is follow. So we want to see that if this person is following us on LinkedIn or not. So we would be we would be providing the value as Boolean type, which is either true or false. And it is important to note that true and false start with capital K, capital letters. Next, we have sequence type. There are three types: strings, list, and tuples, about which we would be studying in next slide, and also mapping type values. Mapping type value is dictionary. So in this, the values are stored in key value pair. We are providing a key, and that key consists of a value. That key is given a value. We can also say that it is a self-defined data type. Lastly, we have one more data type, which is known as none data type, which represents the absence of value, that no value is present. So if you want to represent a variable with no value, we can write name equals to none. So this can also be the last data type in Python. Again, it is important to note that the name of the variable, the none value begins with a capital case. Next, we have data structures in Python. So there are many data structure, but here we will be studying about the major five data structure. Starting off with list. List is consists of mutable values, and it is important to know that it is always enclosed within square brackets separated by comma. So list has comma separated values stored within square brackets. It is of mutable type. Mutable type is a value which can be changed. Suppose we have named a list as my list and provided it with some values, and if in future we have decided that we need to change the value, so we can do this operation in list, but in some data types we cannot do it. And the value is also ordered. Ordered means that suppose we have provided a sequence, then in input, then the output would be that the output that we would be provided would be the same sequence. The values would not have mingled or go from here to there. The value would be same as inputted. Next data type is tuples. It is again comma separated values but includes within braces, and now it is immutable. Immutable means we can make uh, we can make changes in these values. Next type is dictionaries. Dictionaries, as already stated, consist of key value pairs. We provide a value variable name, and then we separate it using colon, and then give the value of the variable. Next we have is sets. Sets are unordered collection of unique values. Sets consist of unique values. Like we cannot give the values as 1, 1, 2, 2. So if we are giving it as an input 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, since the values are duplicate, we would be giving the when we would be getting the output, the values would be unique. The all the duplicate values will be removed from the set. It is enclosed within curly braces. Lastly, we have is strings. Strings are again immutable sequences of characters. So it is character. Suppose we want to give a name. For example, I am giving my name as Khushi. So it would be enclosed within quotes. Quotes can be either single quote, double quotes, or triple quotes. So all three types of quotes are allowed in strings. Next, we would be studying is some important Python libraries. Python, the reason we use Python is because it is platform independent and it has so many libraries which are easily available and understandable to the user. Starting off with NumPy. NumPy is utilized for various aspects of drug discovery due to its efficient array operations. Array is a data type in Python, so it has a very efficient operation. Means it is very fast and easily manageable, and mathematical functions and tools for working with large data sets. Next is Pandas. Pandas is used for data manipulation, analysis, and visualization. RDKit is another Python library which is used for cheminformatics and drug discovery. DeepChem is a deep learning library in drug security for computational chemistry. And lastly, Matplotlib is used for data visualization. Next, we have are that how do we import libraries in Python? So there is a very easy syntax for importing Python libraries, which is just to write the import keyword. Again, import is a keyword, which is a reserved set of words, so we cannot use this as the name of the variable. Import keyword and the name of the module or the library name that we want to import. For example, we want to import pandas, so we write import pandas. Similarly, import numpy. So these are the various ways. This is the way in which we can import library in Python. Next, we have is the application of Python in drug security. That how is Python used in drug security? As we all know that Python is a very popular programming language for drug design due to its versatility, ease to use. It has a rich ecosystem and scientific libraries and tools. Python enables researchers to perform various tasks in drug design, such as data analysis, molecular modeling, ligand protein interaction, and a lot more. Next, we have is what are the phases of this drug discoveries in Python. So these are the steps which are used in discovering the drug. The first being is target identification and validation. So first step is that to discover it is important to discover and confirm the target in which we have to act or for which we have to make the drug. Next is that we need to screen the major molecules. Means once a potential target, once we have determined in the previous step that what is the potential target, we have identified the target and validated it. The starting point can be detected by screening out. That means we would be screening a lot of large number of molecules which can interact with the target. Next step is hit identification and discovery. So what is hit? Hit is defined as the molecule that must interact with the target that we have already mentioned in the first step. Next step that we have is assay development and screening, which is to create a test system that what all tests it should pass through to be able to interact with the target. Next step is hit to lead. So as about hit to, we have already studied that it is a molecule that would interact with the target, and lead is a product of screening process that can be used for advanced stages in the drug discovery. Next step is lead generation and optimization. Once lead is generated and hit to lead the lead optimization, it will commence. It aims to improve the most promising compound products and enhance effectiveness, lower toxicity, or increase absorption. The last step is to view the in vivo and in vitro assays. Now, the end of these stages of early stages of drug discovery, the resultant potential compound must be tested under the certain conditions similar to the cell condition. After that, the molecule goes to the next preclinical level and clinical level for approval processes. Next we have is the use of Python in drug discovery. So Python, as we all know, is a very popular programming language for drug design due to its versatility and its ease to use in rich ecosystem and scientific libraries and tools. So Python has many uses in drug discovery. For example, it is used for molecular modeling, in which the Python libraries like RDKit allow researchers to manipulate and analyze molecular structures, also to calculate the molecular properties and generate 2D and 3D structures for representation of molecules. Next usage of Python is it is used for molecular docking. So Python interfaces with popular docking softwares like Autodock tools, and it allows researchers to perform virtual screening experiments and to predict that how small molecules interact with large protein molecules. And docking is one of the very crucial steps in identify the potential drug candidates. Next, we have is virtual screening. We use tools that provide a graphical interface to perform virtual screening using Autodoc Lina. So we make various graphical arrangements using which we try to find out a way in which there is a sequence of order to enable the researchers to screen large compounds using libraries very efficiently. Next, we have is how is machine learning used in Python? Python has extensive libraries, as we all know, for machine learning as well, such as TensorFlow, as it enables researchers to develop predictive models for drug design. These models can be used to predict bioactivity, identify potential drug to drug interactions. Bioinformatics and cheminformatics is also one of the usage for of Python. Like Python libraries like BioPython and ChemPy facilitates the handling and analysis of biological and chemical data. These libraries are very useful for processing biological sequences, molecular structures, and analyzing chemical properties. Next usage is a very important usage is visualization. Python's Matplot library and Seaborn library are valuable for visualizing the molecular structure, that what is the structure of molecules and how it interacts with the target molecules. Python is also used for analyzing the data. Like Python has some powerful libraries for data analysis as well, like Pandas, which enable researchers to handle the pre-processed large data set, which is very crucial for drug discovery projects. Lastly, one of the major important role of Python is fragment-based drug discovery, in which we use Python platform for employment for in which Python platform is employed to perform the fragment-based drug design task. For example, fragment library generation, fragment-based screening, and fragment linking. These were some of the major uses of Python. Next, we have applications of Python. Python has very vast application in like in web designing, web applications, desktop applications. So for web applications, we have frameworks like Django, Flask, and Pyramids. Also desktop applications, scientific computations and data analysis. We have libraries about which we have studied, some of which we have studied like NumPy, Pandas, SciPy, Matplotlib, and it is also used in machine learning and in AI, as Python has extensive libraries for machine learning like TensorFlow. It enables researchers to develop a predictive model for drug design. These models then are further used to predict the bioactivity and identify potential drug-to-drug interactions. And next, there is also a very important example. As we all know that AstraZeneca is one of the world's leading pharmaceutical companies with over 54,000 employed all worldwide. It provides innovation, effective medicines designed to fight various diseases like cancer, provide pain control, heal infection, fight diseases, and central nervous or respiratory systems. So finding a new medicine is a very tedious task, and it can take decades, means it can take a time span of 10 to 12 years and a lot of money. So a big problem that arises in the early stage of finding a medicine is to find a possible molecule out of so many present in the universe. So computational chemists have developed many techniques to predict molecular properties. These can be used to evaluate the livelihood that a molecule will be stable, whether it would be stable in the stomach or not, and whether it would be able to travel through all the membranes, and eventually it would be broken down and eliminate without being acting as a toxin to the body of the human. Next we have is the some of the important about the very important buzz that is going through in the computational drug discovery, which is AlphaFold. So AlphaFold is a deep learning protein folding algorithm which was developed by DeepMind. It is designed to predict the structure of a protein uh, based on amino acid sequences. It is a problem which is known as the protein folding problem. So AlphaFold discovered a algorithm to deal this problem of protein folding. AlphaFold was firstly introduced in the year 2018, and since then it has undergone significant improvements with latest versions.